Hello everybody, this is Amy from Chateau de Rosieres, and this week we've got something a little bit different for you. It's been a busy week of bits and pieces, and we thought we'd actually just do a bit of a catch up on what's been going on here and some very special visitors that we've had. So you might even say this is something of a diary episode. Marc and Juliette are currently working on something which I'm going to show you in a minute. I just want to orient you. Here's the back of the chateau through the beautiful autumn leaves, and up there behind the ruined tower house and the chicken run you can see Michel. Michel comes to help us out a couple of times a week, and his speciality is firewood, which is why we have such an impressive pile of firewood in one of our barns. I'd just like to show you how things are connected here and the places. So I'm walking away from the other side of the chateau and towards the log shed. So just to situate you, we've just come from over there and I've walked back along here, and now here is the half of an old building that was partially demolished here and turned into barns in the early 2000s, and we use it as our recycling shed and also our wood storage shed. As you can see, we are pretty well stocked. Of course, that's not the only source of heat that we have in the chateau. We have a couple of massive wood burners, but we also have heating from our wood chip system. We are one of the few chateau owners who do not dread the onset of winter, but in fact actually relish it, because we get all cosy and warm all over the chateau. Now I'm going to take you back to what Marc and Juliette are up to. So I want to show you here some work that's been going on in the background. We obviously don't film absolutely everything for YouTube here, because otherwise we'd never get anything done. But there's some interesting work going on with the system there. This is Marc looking dramatic in this silhouette.
Hello.
What do you want to do today, my chérie?
I just want to take advantage that the digger is here to dig out a plan to put a climbing rose in place. We have a forsythia that was planted a long time ago by the tower, and it never looked really good. Well, it looks good in spring when it's in flowers, but otherwise the rest of the year it's not the most amazing. And I had a plan to put a very big climbing rose that will climb along the gutter and the tower, and that will look stunning.
Like her brother, this little girl adores the digger. Just situating you again, we're on the west side of the chateau, which is just by the coach house, which if you watch our channel regularly, you'll know we are renovating so that we can move into it temporarily whilst we do the major works in the main chateau. And it's the corner here that Marc wants to move the plant. Now, I think he's got a hidden agenda here, and I'm going to tell you what I think it is. Now, I have a sneaking suspicion. I think there is a secondary reason you want to dig up a plant just there. Can you, any ideas what I think that is?
To plant another one?
Any of you who watched our video last week will know that we are looking for the old cellars of the chateau. Oh yeah, like you would never thought of that. Anytime he gets the digger close to the chateau, I get worried because...
Yes, let's try over there.
So we were looking for the cellar around there, the vent to the cellar, but the most likely place we now think will be under where the current cellars are there, what we think of as the cellars, which is why I'm deeply suspicious when Mark suddenly wants to do some digging around there out of nowhere. What do you think, Dave? Eh? Sign of the cellar yet?
I haven't looked.
Most of the chateau used to be completely covered in ivy, but it's really, really bad for the stones. It eats away at them and destroys them. There was somebody moved in the 1970s who did a massive clean-up of the whole place. Even now, we're still having to try and keep on top of it. I know it looks picturesque, but it's the death knell for a building. What are you doing now?
I'm digging a hole where the Rosieres was to plant to soften the soil in order to plant the rose.
It won't be a very big hole because we're straight on the rock here, unless of course he hits the mysterious cellars that we're looking for. He's on tenterhooks about the cellars. She's on tenterhooks about the cellars too. They're more on tenterhooks about the worms, I'd say. Do you think this is the lowest level of stones around the base of the tower here that you've just revealed?
Yes, I think so, because it feels like the bedrock right underneath.
Yeah?
I was hitting the bedrock. But I think as far as I remember, there used to be a wall straight here that was visible on the Napoleonic map. And I think the few stones we uncovered might have been part of that wall.
We love working outdoors at this time of the year when the frost is just starting to bite occasionally and the trees are turning, and it's just wonderful. You can cozy down. We love being outside in the daytime and then going in front of the fire in the evening. Absolutely love autumn. It's got the best clothes as well. Huh? Baby Pops?
The rose I'm planting here is a wild rose from China, Rosa gigantea, which is one of the biggest wild roses. And in the wild, it can climb to 20 meters and even more.
Whoa.
And makes eventually a giant trunk. And I think it will look really nice along the gutter because it will climb.
Fantastic.
We'll be able to train it.
All the way up there?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Roses grow really well here, don't they?
Yeah, the roses like quite harsh conditions, and even being straight on the bedrock, on the bedrock, as long as they are watered the first couple of years and have time to settle. It's probably actually where the name Rosieres comes from. Chateau de Rosieres comes from the Occitan, which is the old local language. And it means the place planted with roses.
That's so lovely, isn't it?
So it's quite likely that there have been roses grown here for several centuries.
And it doesn't matter that we're due freezing conditions soon.
No, on the contrary, it's the time of year when you need to plant. You don't want to plant when the soil is frozen, but November is the perfect time of year. I'm putting a bit of slow release fertilizer to help it root.
Oh, baby girl, I'm coming, lovey.
Good. That should help it.
Yeah. And then you cover that with any more soil or not?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I need to fill up the hole.
Okay. So the day is punctuated by our children's needs. One of the most urgent needs is when Juliette wants to sleep and she goes ratty like this. And pretty much the only way to get her to sleep is to take her out in the pushchair up and down the driveway. All done?
Nearly. I just like to put a few stones to hold the soil so it doesn't wash out.
Oh yeah, good point, because there's rain coming.
Yeah, and winter too.
Right, well, we've done what we can with the light today. So I'm back indoors and about to make myself a cup of tea in the kitchen. I thought I might show you the state of our kitchen, which is in dire need of reparation, ripping out and putting in again. This is our oven. It makes a strange whistling sound and is sort of hanging off. Marc and I are going to sit and have a little chat with you about some stuff that came up from last week's video in a bit, once I've made my tea. But before that, I want to book my next Lingoda class, which I told you about a few weeks ago. I've been working with them, promoting them, but also learning French with them. They have a very special offer coming up, and I'm going to do a class tomorrow morning, show you a bit of that class, and then tell you all about their offer. Well, it's turned into a wild and woolly night, hasn't it? So we're all cosy indoors by the candlelight. I've got my tea.
It's very romantic.
And what?
Have my beer.
You've got your beer. And what better for a romantic evening than to discuss geophysical surveying techniques?
Couldn't dream any better.
I know you actually couldn't, could you? We wanted to discuss some questions that have been coming up over and over again to do with last week's video, which was about the secret cellars and tunnels that we now know are under the chateau. Many people have suggested doing non-destructive techniques like ground penetrating radar or electromagnetic imaging. And we, rather than reply to everybody, we thought we'd just discuss this a little bit. Quite luckily, I have a degree in archaeological science.
And I did a bit of geophysics in the past.
The first thing to say is that there are many different types of non-destructive scientific approaches to finding what's under the ground and what's hidden behind things, but they aren't straightforward. I think a lot of people think it's a bit like having a metal detector where you just run it over the ground and go beep, 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 beep and find what's there.
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep, beep. Madame Shasha's trying to do the filming now. We just wanted to discuss the main differences and obstacles for the two main techniques.
The main obstacle is that we actually like breaking stuff.
Yeah, that is quite big. Well, it's true that is the only way you can really find out what's there. The main differences between the different techniques are, with one technique, you are pumping waves. You can think of it like sound waves into the ground, seeing what they bounce back from. The other technique is about bouncing electricity in the ground and seeing how far it can go, because different soils, stones, structures, materials will conduct electricity differently. So as you can imagine, both of those are quite technical and they require experts to be able to interpret the images. And well, they don't just come back with a picture, they come back with readings and they have to be interpreted to see what's there. And there are also some fairly significant limitations which are to do with the nature of the soil or the nature of the materials of the structures that we're looking at, as to whether they conduct more or less and how deep you can go. But what's one of the biggest obstacles that we've got here?
Well, first of all, we're looking for a cellar which is inside the house. And inside the house, so the most appropriate would probably be ground penetrating radar, except that as you're sending waves around, it just bounces back in every direction, including the walls, which makes the readings really difficult to interpret. Conductimetry, if it's the other technique you were talking about.
It's the electrical resistivity imaging.
Yeah, that wouldn't work at all because we're on a concrete slab.
Yeah.
And so
it just wouldn't go through it.
it wouldn't go through it, and the conductivity would be the same everywhere.
And if we have to break the concrete slab, we'll find the entrance anyway if it's there, so we won't need to do that.
And we want to do it anyway because well, first of all, we were going to do it even without knowing there was a cellar, because we want to put the floor level, and for that we need to level it down.
So in essence, these geophysical examination techniques and non-destructive archaeology is a fascinating tool, but it tends to be a very useful preliminary tool. So it's something that guides where you do the actual digging and examination, and it's very good outdoors and on big sites. And one day, essentially quite simple sites.
Big fields with nothing.
And we've talked about this, and we would really love to do some of this on the estate as a whole, because there are all sorts of old structures we know that were demolished and things outside. Where it's probably not going to be feasible is inside the chateau at the moment. We are in contact with the University of Lyon. A professor of archaeology is actually the mayor of our next village, and they've been doing some surveys of the house in different ways. They have very precious resources and limited time, and they're quite a long way away. The chances of that happening are quite slim and probably quite remote.
And also, most of all, it's not worth it since we're going to break the slab anyway.
Do you think we're going to break the slab?
Yes,
I've not heard of that before.
I'm going to. Tomorrow when you wake up, there won't be a slab anymore. And you won't have heard anything.
It's true, the chateau is so big that I probably wouldn't hear it if he did it. J'aime beaucoup pêcher au port et manger du poisson frais. Je pense que c'est la gare avec de la bière. Oh my goodness. So this is the first Lingoda class I've taken in a little while because I've been so busy, and I thought I'm just going to have to fit it in. So I booked it for 7 a.m. and I'm not an early riser, given my choices. Neither are the children, actually. So I thought, right, get it in before they wake up, because otherwise I can't concentrate. And I set the alarm, and then I fell asleep, and I got the snooze, luckily, at 1 minute before the class started. But this just shows me how much I like this way of learning, because I was able to run downstairs in my pyjamas with just a sensible looking top on and start my class. So last time we spoke about this, I told you all about Lingoda and how they're an online language school where you can learn with real teachers of your language, in my case French. And they have lots of learning plans, so you can do one-on-one classes, group classes, choose plans that allow you to do just a few classes a month or loads of classes a month. And they do a 7-day free trial where you can either do a single one-on-one class or 3 group classes. And if you sign up for that, you can see if it really suits you. They want to make sure that it absolutely suits you before you sign up for it. And then if you do the free trial, I have a discount code of Chateau for you to get 50% off any plan that you choose for this Black Friday month. So have a look in the description of our video for more details. So today we have a visit from some very special friends. You may have guessed it. It's Stephanie and Philip from Chateau de la Lande and the Chateau Diaries. We've long wanted to get them over here since meeting them at Marc's family house, and they're anxious to meet Juliette and to see Clement again.
As Amy's hinted it before, we have very special guests at the moment, and they are filming us for Stephanie's new channel, Stephanie's Grand Tour of Europe. We've had a lot of fun filming with them all day, and you'll see the result on Sunday on their channel. But at the moment, before it's getting too dark, Clement has a request for them to go to the vegetable garden.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So we always put our visitors to good use here in Rosieres.
With the workforce.
And Clement wants to teach Stephanie and Philip how to pick vegetables, specifically turnips.
Well, I've never picked turnips. I have picked vegetables, but not turnips. So
and we
I'd like
hear
to
that
learn
you've
this.
got a good crop coming this
We
year,
have.
so you need
Yes.
to learn.
Yes.
So we've got little yellow riding hood and little
Green
green riding
riding
hood.
A little, I don't know,
Stripey
teddy bear,
blue.
Yes.
teddy bear riding hood to go down to the garden just before it gets dark.
All right.
Great. Let's
do you
go.
Clement, where are the turnips? Can you show Stephanie? Great leader.
What was the thing that we got again? He's the small of stature, he's mighty. What about your mother?
Oh yes, yes. It was a Shakespeare quote,
Yes.
something like that. Though small of stature, she is mighty. Oh, fantastic! And they're so beautiful and pink.
Wow. All right.
So do I just pull? Clement?
How many do we need?
Yeah. Okay. Et est-ce qu'ils sont tous prêts?
Clement? Wow!
First
Turnips!
Have I taken one too small?
It doesn't really matter. It's
That's-
better
yes,
to get the
we're
big
going to look
ones.
for bigger turnips from now on.
So how does one recognize a big turnip?
You can see it sort of swelling out of the ground.
Ah, okay.
Oh, this is a fat turnip.
Is that one good,
Oh,
baby
yeah,
boo?
no, that's better.
Oh,
That one's great.
Marc and Juliette are winning here, I believe.
Okay, no, come
How
on.
many, do you, how many do you need?
I would say like 3 or 4 of Marc's size. Yeah,
like
no, yours
10 of
isn't
those.
too bad. So I reckon 1 more each, probably.
Okay, at the
Okay,
moment,
okay.
Lalande's losing. That's all I'm saying.
Navet dans ton panier, t'as vu, c'est un gros navet ça. Hein?
He can't carry that.
Ah, le gros navet. Bigou, t'arrives pas à te porter. On met l'autre
Oh,
petit, celui-là.
Philip.
Is that good?
Philip's let us down.
But it was a big one.
That's not bad, but still, Mark's a winner. I think we've got enough turnips now, haven't we?
Yes, it's possible we have
could
enough
carry on
turnips for dinner.
Pulling them up for fun, but we have enough turnips.
Clement?
Clement's found one.
Clement, do you want to go and show them where the beetroot is, please, baby?
Oh, beetroot. I love beetroot.
Do you
I'm
remember?
more of a turnip fan.
We'll have something for everyone at dinner.
You've done it again. Mark's done it.
Marc, now that's just showing off.
Salut Clément.
Okay.
Hi, celui-là.
That's massive.
Un gros
I
navet
thought
ça.
it would only have like the top poking out, so I thought, oh, this must be a big one because I didn't see about that. I had to pull that. Oh, no, that's the entire thing. All right, okay.
Still working on your farming credentials.
Yes.
Elles sont où les betteraves? Non, c'est pas des betteraves ça.
Des tomates, papa.
Non, c'est des poivrons ça.
Ici, papa.
Et comment est-ce qu'on les prend, les betteraves?
Tu les arraches? Tu arraches une betterave?
Remember, sweetie, you put your hand right down at the bottom before you pull them out.
Oh, that's a big one.
Can you pull it?
No.
Oh, do you want Stephanie to do it for you?
Ouais, Stéphanie va t'aider.
Wow, elle est belle. Oh,
Wow. Here we
bigger
go.
than a turnip, I thought.
superbe.
The fruits of our labour here. Look at that plate of.
Delicious.
Does it really?
No, but it does.
Actually, yeah.
Ashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were cooked in the ashes of the fire.
Sorry, in aluminium.
And those ones are boiled. That's the turnip. And there's the beetroot and the carrots.
I've never seen beetroot like that.
No, it's a light fleshed
It's
one.
going to be really good.
I am very curious. I love beetroot.
And so before I allow you to eat, I'm going to ask you what you thought of your stay here.
Yeah, we've loved every second.
Definitely paying them to say that.
With beetroot.
Basically inviting us back. It's really embarrassing. We go, we'd love to come back.
You suggested first.
A, it's the most beautiful bedroom
Yes.
imaginable, and the views, and it's so peaceful, so calm, the tranquility is
Even with her around.
Yeah, wow.
Not bad chatty.
She's also been extremely helpful,
Yes, she
especially with
has.
the wine.
Yeah, pretty
Like
good.
a personal butler. Great. No,
And poor little Clement's in bed already, so he's missed out on this bit. But
I love
he's
seeing all the
been.
animals.
Oh,
And Clement's looking very good in his penguin suit.
Yeah.
this evening.
that was so funny. He does. I didn't tell you, did I? He wanted to put his penguin suit on and go and show Philip and Stephanie. Yeah.
It was worth it.
Oh well, okay then. I might let you have your food now.
Hey, turnip
Thank
time.
you. Thank you for coming to visit us. And we'll give you some popiettes
that's
as well
not
as
all
just
you have for
turnips.
dinner.
They do eat more than turnips here.